I'm Carol, and I'm sitting in the aftermath of a whirlwind that upended my family and shattered the illusions I'd held onto for far too long. The morning after my wedding in Italy, my phone was a constant symphony of notifications, a stark contrast to the tranquility of the countryside around me. The photo of me and my husband, Ethan, in the rain, the wind lifting my dress to reveal the embroidered "no permission needed," had gone viral, and with it, a buried family secret had been unearthed. As I sat there, the weight of the night before still heavy on me, I couldn't help but let my mind wander back to the moment it all started to fall apart. I was a photographer, a good one at that. I had a signature style that captured raw, unfiltered emotion, and my clients paid top dollar for my work. I was living in Denver, Colorado, in a small apartment filled with the hum of hard drives and the smell of stale iced coffee. I was editing a wedding album when my phone rang, shattering the quiet of the evening. It was my mother, Veronica. "Carol," she said, her voice cold and sharp. "We need to talk about your sister Stella's wedding next month." I leaned back against the sofa, rubbing my eyes. "Mom, I already booked my flight. I sent you the confirmation last week." She interrupted me, her tone brooking no argument. "You're not coming. Stella and your father and I have discussed it, and we think it's best if you sit this one out." I stared at the frozen image of a smiling bride on my screen, my breath catching in my throat. "Excuse me? It's my sister's wedding. I'm her only sister. What are you talking about?" She sighed, as if I were the one being unreasonable. "You've been doing so well with your photography business. You have this polish about you. If you come, people will look at you, talk about your success. And for one day, just one, Stella deserves to be the center of attention." The words hit me like a physical blow, a familiar ache resurfacing from old wounds. I remembered being a child, hiding my achievements so as not to outshine my sister. I remembered wearing a simple prom dress and toning down my makeup so I wouldn't look prettier than her. "I wouldn't do anything," I whispered, my throat tight. "I'd just sit there. I'd wear a burlap sack if you wanted." But she just scoffed. "It's not what you wear. It's who you are. We just want a peaceful day. If you love your sister, you'll understand." And with that, she hung up. I sat there, the phone slipping from my sweaty palm. My heart was pounding in my chest, and I felt a wave of dizziness wash over me. In my despair, I accidentally knocked over a glass of iced coffee, which soaked my primary external hard drive, the one containing 3 months of client work. I watched in horror as my livelihood seemed to slip away, a victim of my family's cruelty. Just then, Ethan walked in. He was a documentary editor, a man who could find beauty in chaos. He took one look at me and dropped the groceries, rushing to my side. "What happened? Are you hurt?" he asked, his eyes filled with concern. I looked at him, the worry in his eyes a stark contrast to the coldness I'd just experienced. And in that moment, something inside me snapped. It wasn't a break, but a realignment. I realized that I'd spent my whole life shrinking, trying to fit into the mold my family had created for me. But no more. "I'm done, Ethan," I said, my voice steady. "I'm done apologizing for who I am. If they want me to disappear from Stella's wedding, then I'll create a life of my own, one where I'm the protagonist." That's when we started planning our own wedding in Italy. We reached out to a friend of Ethan's, Raphael, who had converted an old stable in Puglia into a small event space. We envisioned a simple, intimate ceremony, far from the glitz and glamour of Stella's over-the-top wedding. We capped the guest list at 20, choosing only those who had truly supported me through the years. I found a designer who worked with dead, stock vintage lace and ordered a slip dress. I asked her to embroider "no permission needed" into the silk lining, a secret reminder of my new-found freedom. As the day of our departure neared, I called my mother to tell her our plans. "Mom, I'm not coming to Stella's wedding. But I'm getting married in Italy, 3 days before her ceremony," I said, my voice calm. There was a stunned silence on the other end of the line, followed by a scream. You're joking. This is sabotage. You're jealous, trying to steal her thunder. I held the phone away from my ear, the words no longer stinging as they once did. I'm not stealing anything. Stella can have her day. I'm just having a life. She hissed, do not expect a single person from this family to support you. I simply replied, I never did, and hung up. But the attacks didn't stop there. After I booked our flights, my phone became a weapon of mass guilt. My extended family, summoned by my mother, bombarded me with texts calling me selfish and cruel. They painted a picture of Stella on the verge of a breakdown because of me. Ethan advised me to check Stella's Instagram. To my surprise, she was at a bridal brunch, looking radiant and happy. It was clear they were lying, trying to manipulate me into submission. We decided to document everything, creating a folder of their messages in case they escalated. But then, my mother tried to breach the venue in Italy. Raphael called me, worried about a strange phone call from a woman claiming to be the mother of the bride. She wanted to know the ceremony schedule, the guest list, and even the gate code. I was furious. That's my mother. She's not invited. Don't give her any information. Raphael, being the good friend he is, came up with a solution. We'll use a password. From now on, no changes are made without it. I blurted out the first word that came to mind, cinnamon. Done. The Miseria is a fortress, he assured me. But my mother wasn't done. She went after my reputation, posting in a private Facebook group for wedding vendors, insinuating that I was a fame-hungry scandalmonger. I wanted to fight back, to defend myself, but Ethan stopped me. He reminded me that our wedding was about celebrating our love, not falling into their game. Just as I was trying to focus on the positive, a friend sent me a link to Stella's wedding website. To my shock, it was filled with my photos, my work, without any credit to me. The hero image, the one that had launched my career, was there, my watermark clumsily removed and replaced by a patch of blurry leaves. The credit line read Photography and Visual Direction by Stella's fiancé, Victor. I felt sick to my stomach. I called my copyright attorney, Maya, who quickly confirmed that it was a violation of the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. I didn't want money, I just wanted the site taken down. Maya filed a DMCA takedown notice, and within 24 hours, the site was gone. But Victor wasn't going to let it go easily. He sent me an email, offering me $500 to license the photo for their wedding media kit. I was appalled. I replied, telling him the image was not for sale and to never contact me about business again. He responded with insults, threatening that I was ruining Stella's future. I forwarded the email to Maya, adding it to the file of his harassment. Finally, we made our way to Italy. The moment we stepped off the plane, it was as if a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. The air was different, filled with the smell of dried earth and salt. We drove to the Miseria, a fortified farmhouse with a central courtyard paved with uneven flagstones. It was far from perfect, but it was real, a place where love could flourish. As our guests arrived, I could feel the warmth and support surrounding me. We signed a privacy agreement to protect our celebration from my family's interference. The evening before the wedding, Raphael pulled me aside. Your mother called again. She was less polite this time, demanding to know the ceremony time and threatening to leave a bad review if I didn't tell her. I was angry, but I trust Raphael. What did you tell her? He grinned. I told her without the code word, I couldn't confirm a wedding was even taking place. Maybe she has the wrong country. I let out a sigh of relief. Thank you. She won't get in. That night, Ethan came in with the news that there was an 80% chance of rain during our vows. For a moment, I felt the old panic rise, but then I looked out the window at the olive trees. Let it rain. It's just different light, different texture. The next day, as I prepared to walk down the aisle, an elderly woman from the neighboring property shuffled out and pressed a bundle of wild greenery into my hands. Congratulations, beautiful. Life is yours, she said in a voice like cracking parchment. I held the herbs against my dress, their sharp, green scent grounding me. I walked towards Ethan, under the gnarled branches of the oldest olive tree. As we exchanged our vows, the rain started as a fine mist, and then the wind picked up, lifting my dress and revealing the embroidery. Ethan saw it and smiled, and in that moment, the photographer captured a shot of raw, unscripted reality. After the ceremony, we moved the dinner under the stone archways. The mood was electric, and I forgot about all the drama back home. But then, a friend showed me a photo that had been posted on Instagram. It was the shot of the wind lifting my dress, with a caption that read, "She was uninvited to her sister's wedding because she took up too much space. So, she invited herself back into her own life. No permission required." The photo had already gotten 40,000 likes, and the comments were pouring in. People were inspired by my story, and it quickly went viral. As the night went on, a popular wedding commentary account picked up the story. They did a reverse image search and found Stella and Victor's old wedding website, along with the stolen photos. The comment section exploded with anger on my behalf. My phone started buzzing non-stop with notifications. My mother called, screaming for me to take the photo down, but I refused. "I'm not lying for you anymore," I told her. Then, Victor sent another email, still trying to manipulate the situation. I ignored him and focused on the positive. I declined all the brand deals and offers that came my way, not wanting to commodify our love. The night before Stella's wedding, she called me. She sounded exhausted, broken. "Can you just stop making everything worse, Carol?" I was calm, detached. "I'm in Italy, Stella. I'm not doing anything. The truth is." She tried to blame me for the chaos surrounding her wedding, but I pressed her to be honest. "Do you really not want me there, or are you just scared of Victor and Mom?" After a long pause, she admitted, "I'm so jealous of you, Carol. You have Ethan, someone who really sees you." I felt a pang of sadness for her. I told her she didn't have to marry Victor, that I would help her get out of it. But she was too afraid of our mother's wrath. She couldn't bring herself to break free from the script they'd written for her. In the end, I couldn't save Stella, but I could save myself. I edited a video of our wedding, titled "Chosen Family," showing the real love and support I'd found in Italy. It went viral, too, and became an anthem for those who had felt marginalized by their families. Meanwhile, back in Charleston, Stella's wedding fell apart. The florist, spooked by the art theft scandal, demanded proof of ownership for the images Victor had used. When he couldn't provide it, the sponsors pulled out, and the videographer threatened to walk out. Stella finally saw the light. She realized that she was nothing more than an asset to Victor, a means to a lifestyle. She walked out of the wedding venue, leaving Victor at the altar. 2 weeks later, I got a text from Stella. She was sorry, and she thanked me for showing her the exit. I told her we could start over, but as equals. 6 months later, Ethan and I returned to Puglia for our anniversary. We used the money from the viral video licensing to start a small grant for artists who had been cut off by their families. We called it the Open Gate Fund. As I stood on the stone wall of the Miseria, looking out at the beautiful landscape, I realized that being uninvited wasn't the worst thing that could happen to me. It was the catalyst for a new beginning, a chance to live a life on my own terms, without apology.